crafty friends. Thanks for joining me today. Chauntelle here with Crafty Designs by Lee. Here to share with you a quick video. My sister is having a little minor surgery, and I wanted to make a card to take with me to the hospital. I'm going to go and visit her today, so I wanted to just quickly show you a little video of the card that I am making for her. And today I actually used my Cricut to design a cute little animal from my Creative Critters cartridge. So I'm going to be using this cartridge today. The Creative Critters is the original Creative Critter cartridge. They now have a Creative Critters 2 cartridge with the animals. They have cute little costumes, different things they're wearing, so that's really nice. Okay. So let's get started. I'm going to start out with a craft colored cardstock, and I'm going to get out my Martha Stewart scoreboard. And I'm going to score this at 4 1/4 and fold it in half. And that'll make this card to be standard size, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to just get that lined up. Make sure it's nice and even. Oops, it's probably kind of loud, huh? Okay, so we have that, the cardstock. And I have this line of paper. It's like school days paper, and I wanted to use this piece here with the lines on it, like for the you know, the writing pad, because the stamp I'm using, this is from Inkadinkadoo, and I think what they did was go to different schools or children and have them tell them different words or different sayings, and then they turned them into stamp sets, which I thought was really cool. And this one says, "Being sick just stinks," and it was done by Benjamin Nassar at the age of 10. So I'm going to use this stamp set today, this stamp today. So I thought that pages from that paper collection would go well with what I'm doing. I'm going to cut this paper layer at 3 inches. "3" tall by 5 1/2 inches wide. And then I also have this other paper here. It looks like a picnic table. I thought that would bring some nice contrast. And I cut a piece out that is 1 1/2 inches long, 1 1/2 inches this way by 5 1/2, and that's going to layer on that cardstock also. I'll get those adhered down first. We'll do that, because then I also have some other, I want to use a scallop to make an edge punch. Make like a little border, go across it. We can start here. So this one's going to go right at the top. Hope my head doesn't get into the frame while I try and make sure I'm lining this up well. Okay. And then we'll get the second sheet adhered. And this is just going to go right down to the bottom. And then I have this paper. This is the sheet that I use to cut out my skunk. So I'm going to take and use this bottom half and a Fisker's scallop punch. And I'm just going to punch out a scalloped edge all the way across. And it's actually more than I'm going to need, and I realize that, but I'm just going to take it all the way across anyway. Clean this up. And then this white sheet, which is one of the layers, of the skunk. I'm going to just cut a little strip of that also because I want to put that underneath to kind of bring out the black. I'm going to show you right now what I'm doing here. You'll see what I mean. Now this scallop edge is going to go right, they're actually both going to go like right in this area. So I'm going to just put some adhesive, just 2 lines of adhesive right there. So I'm going to put this white sheet here, make sure I get it nice and straight, using the checkers and the pattern paper as my guide. And this scallop piece, I'm going to first run just a little bit of ATG right across the top. And if you get it where, you know, it goes over the edge, you can always just take it and flip it back. I love the ATG. It's a little bit forgiving in the, you know, right early on before you get it stuck down onto the paper. You can kind of, you know, maneuver it a little bit and make it work. All right, as Tim Dunn would say. So then I'm just going to take this sheet and line it up from the edge. And I think my scallop may have come out a little bit loopy here, but it's okay because my skunk is going to sit here. So, you know, he'll kind of disguise that a little bit and you'll never even notice it. Okay, so open this up, cut off those edges, get that cleaned up. Okay, here's our stamp. I actually used my Stamp-A-Ma-Jig so that I can be sure to get this stamped right in the area of the card where I wanted it to be. So it can be, you know, it will be very specific. And the Stamp-A-Ma-Jig helps you. Let me open this up. It'll be easier. To be able to line up on your project exactly where you want an item to go, and then you can make sure that you get your stamp right where you want it. It's going to go right here, and we're going to use some Memento Tuxedo black ink. Going to ink up our stamp. We'll move away the plastic sheet while keeping the Stamp-A-Ma-Jig in its place. Get that stamp down. I'm gonna press really hard just so I make sure that I get nice coverage. Perfect. And then for my skunk, I've already put him together, and I added some googly eyes. See them shake a little bit. And I have some silver pearls here in different sizes. So I'm going to use one of those pearls as his nose. And then I'm also going to decorate the bottom of the border here with a couple of pearls. I'm going to put him on some foam so that he pops up off the page. So we'll just add a couple of strips of foam to the back of his head and his body, and then one more piece on his tail, just so that his tail doesn't get, you know, too wobbly in the environment, in the world, and he'll stay in place and get him adhered. And he's just gonna go right about there. You know, if his tail, like at the bottom half of his body, wasn't as thin as it was, and yeah, if the bottom half of his body wasn't as thin as it is, I would be able to put him on an action wobble, and if you flick it like that, you can see him go and get some action going on. But his body is not stable enough for me to be able to put an action wobble on there, so I decided to just put him on some foam instead. And there's his little nose. Get that down there. And then we'll just put some pearls. I'll do 3 sizes here. Start there. 1. Have them graduate, smallest to largest. And then that just brings in that silver color from his nose. I'm also going to decorate the inside of this card, and I cut a piece of that picnic table paper, just a little tiny strip, and get that adhered on the inside of the card. And it's just going to go right down in the center. So there you have a built-in sentiment, and then you have plenty of room to add your own sentiment if you want to add something extra down here at the bottom, or, you know, your name or who it's from or whatever, or who it's to, and that kind of thing. So there you go. There's the card for today. Thanks for joining me. Happy crafting.